So customer experience has been the heart of most companies, right? Okay, that's the biggest pain point for most companies, where they lack the customer experience. Multiple outlets of social media, multiple areas of connection with the company, and customer experience took a big hit for most of the people or companies that never nimble enough to grow.
Hey, welcome back to another episode of the Growth and Scaling Podcast. Today, I am bringing you straight from the hills of San Diego, Ashok. Ashok, tell us who you are and what do you do with your business?
I'm a serial entrepreneur. I run two companies right now. The first company is Soft Clouds. The other company is Unfold Labs. Two different areas of technology
Love it.
expertise. One is on the CRM CX side of it. The other is pure technology and innovation. Um, all in all, right? Okay, we are about 180 people around the world. We have offices in San Diego.
Love it.
We have an office in LA, and we have offices in Japan and in India.
Nice. Japan and India. I do not hear Japan very often. What are you doing out of Japan?
We are very strong on the automotive segment. You name the auto company we would have worked for, right? Okay, approximately. Okay, we have worked for at least 10 to 12 of the auto companies around the world. Because of that
Wow.
segmentation, right? Okay, we thought that okay, it will be better for us to have an office in Japan. I mean, due to which okay, we
That's
registered a
great.
company in Japan and we are doing some business in Japan as well.
Good for you. Good for you. Now help us understand. I know you've got a technology company, and tell us about both these companies and how do they relate to each other, first of all. But maybe before the first of all, tell us what they each individually do, because I know they're both unique and separate.
Sure. The first company is Soft Clouds, which is a CRM CX implementations company. When people buy
Awesome.
Oracle or Salesforce as a platform for their customer experience, what we do is we go in and we get their requirements. We personalize that platform for their organization, right? We work on
Yeah.
we work with a lot of enterprise companies. We love working that segment because of the
Right.
value of the business and the longevity of the platform implementations. So we have a lot of
Sure.
work done on multiple automotive OEMs, hospitality,
Cool.
and travel segments. Uh, those are
I mean, really, I was going to say, really, I mean, for an enterprise level company, most of the smaller solutions just aren't going to work for them. And Salesforce, for example, is a behemoth of a software suite, which a lot of them get confused. It kind of it's hard to wrap your head around the whole thing. So you go in and design and build the implementation for these companies. Is that right?
We go in, ask them the right questions on what they want and where their process is right now. We optimize the process for
Right.
their implementation. Then we go back to the platform and make sure that the platform is enabled for their business, so that okay they can have
Doing
better
what they
ROI.
want it to do.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's hard to get ROI if you're not collecting all the right information and actually doing something with it, right?
correct. We do that on the
All
first
right.
company. The second company, what we
Yeah,
do is basically okay. It's a little bit more future looking company. So what happens is okay.
awesome,
It's kind of a lab atmosphere. I call it Unfold Labs. It's a kind of a lab atmosphere
awesome.
where we are doing a very innovative implementations on some stuff, right? So, for example, we do
Right.
Android optimization, deep device level performance implementations. We do
Interesting.
platforms, right? Okay, video platforms. We do mobile device management and stuff like that, right? So I think
Cool.
it's a very that's a very lab atmosphere. It gets getting our hands dirty, uh, coming up with innovative solutions to problems and stuff like that.
Right. Now, Ashok, you talk about these very casually, but these are not new companies. These are both very mature companies. You've been operating them, I know at least in the 2009-ish eras where you launched Soft
Correct.
Clouds. Um, Tell us about that growth journey. I mean, let's take one business at a time because they both are serving two different things. What drove you to want to jump into that Salesforce world and start running enterprise level programs?
So customer experience has been the heart of most companies, right? Okay, that's the biggest pain point for
Yeah,
most companies, where
agreed.
they lack the customer experience. And in the early
Yeah.
2000s, what happened was there was this multiple outlets of social media, multiple areas of connection with the company, and customer experience took a big hit for most of the people or
Yeah.
companies that never uh, were not nimble enough to grow properly, right? So
Yes.
we found that as a very niche area for us at that time to go in and help companies be successful with their customers, right? Which is where
Right.
their money is. So we started doing this for a few companies, and then okay, we saw a huge business in this area for enterprises specifically, and so
Yeah.
we started going after
Yeah.
enterprises.
Cool. I mean, why don't they have someone on their team that can do that? I guess, as a small business, you think, okay, surely they've got someone on their team that can manage this. Why can't they? And why is there such a demand for companies like yours who offer that specialization of these tools?
See, sitting internally, right? Usually, what happens is okay, we are on our own Kool Aid in most cases, right? Okay, we think that okay,
Yes.
this is what the customer wants, but unfortunately,
Yeah.
we don't know that, right? So it is always good for an external set of views to come in and
Yeah.
look at both angles. One is internal to the company, and the second is okay as a customer or from an external standpoint, right? Okay, when I come into this company, what should the experience
Yeah.
be? Right? It's a different set of eyes that we have looking at pure customer experience angles.
Right. And you offer continued support, though, and maintenance of that
Correct,
platform throughout the longevity of the business,
correct,
right?
correct. What
So,
we do is
so at that,
we go in, we do the implementation, and
yeah,
what we've always seen is all the enterprises love us so much, so that
yeah,
okay they keep us forever. So we have customers
that's
who've been
awesome.
working with us for the last probably 13, 14 years now.
I love it. I love it. Those are great businesses to have. When people learn to rely on you and you're continually offering value in return, it really becomes a sticky business where they do not want to get rid of you, because if they do, they don't know how to manage it all internally.
Exactly,
How did you learn that before you started this business? I mean, why didn't you go for smaller clients or mid-sized clients instead of going enterprise level? What kind of drove you to that decision?
being a small organization, we don't like customer churn. What we felt was if there was more customer churn, right? It was always difficult to go and find newer customers every year.
Right.
It is difficult, right? Okay, whereas when you go into the enterprise segment, what happens is if you do the best of the best services,
Right.
the customer likes you, they keep you forever. Okay,
They do.
so we've been successful with that recipe of providing the best of the best solutions to our customers because of which they love us.
I love it. And at this point in the game, you've been running this business since 2009. You've grown it. You've got well over 100 employees in that particular business. I know you've got some in the technology business as well. Are there highlights along the way? I mean, as you made the right decisions to grow and scale, what do you think were some key decisions you made along the way that have really brought you to where you're at right now? Because I think a lot of people are pretty jealous of the fact that you've got, a 14-year-old company with 100 plus employees generating at least 10 million a year in revenue.
Yeah. We on a total, right? Okay, we are about 11 plus years of 11 plus in terms of revenue. We have
Yeah,
about 180 people working for us in total, right?
I love
Um,
it.
what we've done is basically okay. We have a passionate team. I would say that okay, the
Yeah,
recipe for success is a passionate team, and we have
yeah,
a very good set of people in our organization. We are very very people first organization, and if you look at our the types of people that we have, people come in and stay with us forever. Okay, we have people
that's awesome.
who've been with us for 15 to 18 years now, right?
I love it.
Okay, right from the beginning, right? Okay, people are here. We let people grow and glow in the terms
Yeah,
that okay, we look at core features of the people and then okay, ask them what they want to do. They love being
yeah,
here because okay, we are very nimble. We allow them to take ownership of their own areas of what they want and what they like to do,
cool.
right? I think
I
that's one
love it.
very, very important thing that we have learned in making sure that, okay, we do that. And in some cases, even if people leave, what has happened is most of the people who have left us have come back to us, right? Because
Yeah, I've
they
found that
love,
too.
yeah, they love the culture. It's a very, very, very open culture. Um, The leadership is awesome from our side. The kinds of leaders that we've had in the organization as well, right, are very people centric leaders. Okay, we
So
are very
so you've
open. We are discuss to discussions.
I am so glad you're here, and I just wanted to take a few seconds to tell you about a program that we have assembled with a lot of our podcast guests and a lot of people who are listening to the show who are feeling the same way that they do. There's a recurring theme. You'll hear a lot of these founders talk about, I couldn't have done it without my team. I couldn't have done it without a support group of peers. I couldn't have done it without having someone to talk to that understood my feeling of isolation as an operator of my business. You see, you're not alone. It is hard running a business, and it's even harder when you know you can't express all your deepest concerns and frustrations with your executive team. It makes them nervous. It gets them scared. You don't want scared people on your executive team. So where do you turn? The Captain's Council is where you turn. The Captain's Council, it is an organization that we are put together with podcast guests, as well as people who are listening who are in the same boat. You see, peers are the only ones that can give you the type of empathy, the type of advice that only a founder or operator know and understand. Go check it out at captainscouncil.com. I know you're going to love what you see there. We have put together an organizational structure that has small group settings, a global community of founders and operators, as well as monthly and quarterly in-person events. You're going to love what you see there. I can't wait for you to check it out and enjoy the rest of this episode. Now, you've brought up three things that I think are really interesting. You've brought up the people connectivity. You're a people company, and you've emphasized that. You've also talked about culture and the culture, and you've also talked about values. Those three things to me are foundational in building a place where you can have people excited about their projects, excited about their clients, and operating in an effective manner. How did you do that? How early on did you set out and say, this is what we stand for, this is what we want to produce, and how clear do you make that to your team?
I think right from day one, right? Okay, we've been a very people-centric organization. Okay, when people
Love
have
it.
come in, okay, we've always looked at people and where they want to grow, right? And we have put them in the right spots. And in some cases, what we have done is we have also moved people around for them to be
Right.
successful, right? Okay, so that has been right from the start, right? Okay, I always feel that okay, I'm a first human being at heart, right? Okay, then comes business and the technologies and all the other aspects of it.
Right.
So when that becomes the culture of the organization, every hire comes in with the same approach, right? Okay,
Right.
when we bring in, actually, to be honest, when we bring in people, right? Okay, on day one, right? We are very proud of our culture. We talk about our culture of empathy, giving, and basically collaboration and in a team
Right.
environment.
I love it. I love it. That is going to help you grow and scale probably more than any other piece of the business, is having that alignment between people, having them feel like they have ownership and they can grow and scale within your organization. That is so critical. What are some big challenges that you've hit along this growth journey that you feel like, man, I wish I would have known that 10 years ago as you've been trying to grow and scale?
So the biggest challenge in this the technology industry is technology changes on a dime. So, for example,
Yes.
if you're looking at it right now, right? Okay, so just about a few months ago, ChatGPT came in, and today you look at anything, right? Everybody's talking about generative AI.
Right.
Companies like Salesforce is connecting to generative AI. Microsoft is there. Google is there. Everything is there, right?
It's crazy.
Technology is leapfrogging in most cases, right? So we have to be on top of the technology landscape to making sure that okay,
Yeah.
we are nimble and we are making the right decisions in terms of technology.
Right, right. I think it's awesome. I think that you are so the biggest challenge that you're facing is because of the growth and everything changing so rapidly. How do you deal with that though? I mean, that's not something to be super excited about, other than the fact that because you're a technology company, you can help other people solve the problem.
Correct.
How do you solve the problem internally though?
So that's a perfect foray into what Unfold Labs does, right? Unfold Labs is basically is looking at the future of technology, right? Okay, we
Right.
look at machine learning, we look at artificial intelligence, we look at image processing, we look at mobile development, right?
Right.
Platforms and solutions and stuff like that, right? So
Yeah.
we,
Yeah.
at one point in time, right? Okay, we are looking ahead of the curve. At the same time, right? Okay, making sure that our business is intact and making sure that okay, our customers are happy as well.
Right.
So forecasting of what's going to happen in the industry. If you look at our website, right? Okay, we have a lot of infographics. We have a lot of blogs that are written about the future of technology. Um,
Right.
we do a lot of presentations in industry forums around AI in healthcare, AI and IoT and stuff like that as well. So it's
Interesting.
kind of interesting in the sense that one area we are looking at the future of technology, the other side, right? Okay, we are implementing current technologies.
And how do you find that solution? I mean, is it something that you have built as kind of an add-on service to your existing CRM slash Salesforce implementation clients, or is
Yeah.
this a totally different batch of clients that you're hitting?
We are doing both. Actually, I would say that we are doing both. One is basically okay, we create innovative products and stuff like that, and basically
Yeah.
okay, we seed it for B2C, but then okay, we move towards the B2B market, right?
Right.
But at the
Right.
same time, on the soft cloud side of the business, for these enterprise clients, right? Okay, there are interesting problems that need to be solved. So what we
Right.
do is we take those interesting problems and make them as products or solutions and go and give them proposals and get them implemented for them.
I love it. I love
So for
it.
example, right,
So
I can give you a good example here.
yeah.
For example, we did one of our customers had a location issue in the sense that, okay, the queues in their uh, lounges were longer than expected because of which that was not a good customer experience because of our
Interesting.
mobile expertise and location based solutions expertise. What we did was when people came in, right, we automatically opened the doors for them with technology.
Interesting. Interesting. That's cool. I wish I knew which company this was for. We'll have to talk offline about that.
Yes, yes, yes.
So in looking at what you've been able to grow and build to this stage of the game, what advice do you give other companies who kind of have a core primary service? I mean, do you encourage people to do what you've done and kind of branching out into two complementary organizations, or do you feel like it's enough to add more products to an existing company? I'm curious why you chose to take this route of differentiating into two brands.
So I think the technology landscape has transformed itself in the last 20 years, right? Okay, huge
Yeah,
changes, right? With companies like Tesla coming in, or with companies like ChatGPT coming in,
sure.
huge transformation happening every day. My advice to budding entrepreneurs would be keep your eyes and ears open to what's going on around us, right?
Right.
Very much, right? Okay, uh, the past uh, the past success doesn't define future success, right? Okay,
It
you need to
doesn't.
be very very careful on what you're trading. Um, so if you have asked me 10 years ago, is Salesforce going to be the platform of choice? I would have said, oh, it is just starting up right now, right? But then today, okay, they seem to have they have taken on Oracle to the helm, right? Okay, so they've done a very good job in
Right.
getting there. So you need to
Right.
be on the top of technology and trends that are happening. Keep your eyes and ears open and making sure that okay, you are on top of the game.
It's great advice. Now, as you have grown and scaled these two companies, is there someone in your circle who has been there as kind of an inspiration, someone who has helped motivate you to go and do what you've been able to do in these companies?
Yeah, I would take on some cues from my prior manager. His name is Gavin Kim from Samsung,
Cool.
right? Very young person, very nimble, very thoughtful, very personable, and high tech, right? Okay, he was
Awesome.
always on the next generation of technology, uh, and you go to him for anything, right? Okay, he'll have his own thought process, a completely different paradigm shift of thoughts in terms of business or in technology or people, right? Okay,
That's so
he's a
cool.
good guy for me to be an inspiration.
That's cool. I love it. And I'm grateful for the shout out. I think that people like that who can be that inspiration, maybe he knows he is, maybe he doesn't know he is, but for you, I'm so glad that you have someone like that, Ashok, because, you may be that person to someone who's rising up in their company right now. And it feels good to know that as a peer community of founders and operators of businesses, you really have a hard time doing it on your own. Have you felt like these people, mentors and people like that, have been able to guide you? And to what end, to what value has it brought to your business?
Yes. You cannot do it. In my perspective, right? In my life, right? Okay, what I've learned is, okay, you cannot do anything on your own, right? Okay, you
Right.
are taking cues from multiple sources. Um,
Yeah.
One of the first companies that I worked for was in India, where my first mentor, he was an innovator by heart. Okay, he was a technologist,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Okay, and he would be working until 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning in terms of hardware software integration, putting ICs and microcontrollers and microprocessors together to making sure that
Right.
he was getting the right solutions, right? Okay,
Crazy.
so you
Yeah.
take cues from multiple people around you. Everyone, in my opinion, everyone around us has something great to offer, and we need to pick and choose what is that greatness that they offer, and go from
I
there.
love it. I love it. Fantastic advice. Great shout out. I really appreciate you being on the show today, Ashok. And honestly, for those listening, you have a lot to learn from this episode. I think it's fantastic, the story that you shared, the journey you've been on, and the advice you've given. I think you're going to add a lot of value to people out there trying to determine what are my next steps in my growth and scaling journey. So Ashok, thank you so much for being here.
Thanks, Todd, for
Yeah,
the opportunity. Appreciate your kindness in having me on this podcast.
of course. We welcome you and appreciate your time today. Thanks so much, Ashok.
Thank you. You have a good one.
I hope you enjoyed that conversation as much as I did. He is just a great man, great founder, really fun personality, and I hope you enjoyed what he had to say. I hope you saw the things that he was saying in your mind relating to your business or your operations as you're managing things and you find new opportunities. Are you pursuing them? Are you taking them offline? Are you taking them into a different company? Are you just making a new product in your existing company? All things that you need to think about in growth and scaling. Sometimes it just makes more sense to take a product and make it its own entity and just go with it. Sometimes it's not. But if you're in growth and scaling mode and you don't have people around you who can help you understand where to go next, you need to look into the Captain's Council. This is something that we have put together to help operators like you who are trying to make critical decisions about your growth and scaling journey. These critical decisions, sometimes you get buried so deep in the weeds that you don't know what to do. You get confused, you confuse yourself. And sometimes it just takes someone from the outside listening to your little conundrum there. And in minutes, they come up with solutions for you that will help put you on the right path to grow and scale your business. If you find yourself in that position or have been there before, you should strongly consider being part of a peer network community of other CEOs and founders. That is the Captain's Council. We look forward to catching you in that council room and hope to hear from you soon. This interview, along with all the other interviews on the Growth and Scaling podcast, should be of value to you of hearing other founders and what they had to do to get past their growth and scaling stalemates. Everybody struggles. Everybody has a hard time. If you're finding yourself in the situation where you need some advice, listen to more episodes, come be part of our community, and I hope you like, share, subscribe with anyone that you know that could use these messages today. Thanks for being here. We'll catch you on the next episode of the Growth and Scaling podcast. Thanks so much.